Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to go over the basics of masks in Affinity Photo 2. A layer mask is used to reveal or hide a portion of a layer. Masks are commonly used with adjustments, filters, and creative effects to selectively reveal or hide them on parts of a photo rather than globally. Using masking is non-destructive, which means you can return to refine your adjustments at any given time. Let's start with this image of a woman with a mask on. I'll start by duplicating the layer by clicking on Command or Ctrl-J. Then, I want to make the top layer black and white. So, I'll go to the Adjustments button at the bottom of the Layers panel and select black and white. You can move these sliders around a bit to get the desired look you want. There, that looks good. Now, I'll drag the adjustment layer onto the top woman layer, so the black and white effect only applies to the top image. Next, I'll select the top layer and then go to the Mask button at the bottom of the Layers panel. Note that a white mask thumbnail shows up next to the background thumbnail. Okay, next, I'll click the Paintbrush tool from the left-hand toolbar. Then, I'll go to the Brushes panel, which is the tab next to the Layers panel, and I'll choose a soft round brush. A basic white mask will keep the layer it is on visible. To reveal what is underneath, select black for your brush color. Then, just paint over the area where you want to reveal the layer below. Watch as I paint over this mask. The black and white top layer gives way to the color layer below for a really cool effect. Okay, now if you happen to go over an area of the black and white image you want to keep, don't worry. You can just use the color wheel to switch your brush color back to white, which will add the black and white layer pixels. Now, for an even more dramatic effect, try going back to the lower layer and recoloring it. Just select the bottom layer, click the Adjustments button at the bottom of the Layers panel, and then choose Recolor. You can use the slider to recolor the mask whatever you want. Pretty cool, huh? Next up, we're going to talk about inverted masks. This is basically the opposite of what we just did. Let me show you what I mean by using this woman's eye as an example. I'll start by clicking Command or Ctrl-J to duplicate the layer. Then, with the top layer selected, I'll click the Adjustments button at the bottom of the Layer panel and select Recolor. I'll move the slider a bit and recolor the whole top image a nice shade of blue. Then, I'll drag the adjustment layer onto the top background layer so the adjustment doesn't affect the layer below. Next, I'll click the Mask button at the bottom of the Layers panel. Because the Recolor adjustment is on this layer too, the mask can be seen by clicking the little arrow to reveal the drop-down. I'm going to select the mask, and this time I'll click Command or Ctrl-I to invert it. Notice that the blue layer disappears and that the mask icon turns black. An inverted mask hides the layer it is on. To reveal the layer, you paint over it with white. Let's try that with this eye here. Like I said, an inverted mask is the opposite of the standard mask I did earlier. The standard mask keeps the image it's on, and you paint black to reveal what's underneath the layer. You paint white to erase mistakes. An inverted mask hides the layer it's on, and you paint white to reveal what's on the layer itself. If you accidentally color over the lines, all you need to do is switch your brush head to black and then paint that area away. Okay, I'm going to talk about another type of mask that's slightly more advanced, but it's one of my favorites to use. Let's start with this nice image of fire with a black background. If you go to Layers in the menu and scroll down to New Live Mask Layer, you'll see an option for the Luminosity Range Mask. Select that and you get a little graph that pops up. If you click and hold the node on the far right, you can move it down. You'll see that the brighter parts of the image disappear. Likewise, if you pull the left-hand node down, all the darker parts will disappear. Now, you can add one or more nodes to the graph to get all kinds of results. I'll just add one here near the left and drag it to the top. Then, I'll add another in between and drag it to the bottom. This gives me a good mask of the fire without the background. Okay, now, if you want to clean this up and get rid of some of the extra areas around the fire, all you have to do is paint it away. Because the mask shows up as white, you know that a paintbrush with black on it will act like an eraser. As you can see, you can get rid of any parts you don't want. Alright, let's do something with this bit of flame. I'm going to add it to another image for a nice composite. So, I'll select the layer with the mask and right-click on it. Then, I'll select Copy. Next, I'll go to this hand image on a transparent background and I'll use the Move tool to move it down a little bit. I want a black background, which will make the flames stand out nicely. So, I'll go to Layer in the menu and select New Fill Layer. Then, I'll use the slider on the color wheel to change the fill from black to white. Okay, now I'll click and hold the layer to grab it and then drop it below the hand layer. Remember, I already copied my masked out flame, so I can just got to edit in the menu and select Paste to paste it into a new layer with the hand. I'll then grab the flame layer and drop it above the hand layer. Finally, I'll resize the flame by using the little nodes on the corners. Then, I'll move it into place so that it looks like it's burning right on top of this guy's hand. One last thing to point out, and then I'll let you go. Masks are non-destructive, so you can still work with them at any time. In this example, I can still select the masked layer and use a black brush to paint away areas I don't want to help blend them in a bit. There, that looks nicer. Alright, that's about it for today. If you learned something and want to see more of this kind of content, please click those like and subscribe buttons. And if you're feeling generous, this channel runs on caffeine. There's a link to buy me a cup of coffee in the descriptions. Not necessary, but certainly appreciated. Have a great day, everyone.